This is Mac OS Ken.
A tale of two Februaries, a big day for repetition, and a big day for repetition. It's Friday, the 12th of March, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Get a free 1-month trial at headspace.com/macosken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Two reads on a single note. Read number 1. February was not a stunner for iPhone in China. Apple Insider has had a look at a note from JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee. He cites numbers from China Academy of Information and Communications Technology that show international smartphone shipments falling off a cliff last month versus the month before. According to the Academy, internationally produced devices, which mostly means iPhones, internationally produced devices fell 66% from January to February. That's from sales of 6.4 million in January to 2.2 million last month. Chatterjee is bummed, though apparently not terribly surprised. Overall, says his note, shipment trend largely in line with typical seasonality is modestly disappointing and likely represents weaker smartphone industry dynamics relative to expectations entering the year on account of the 5G upgrade cycle. It sounds like he's saying that the smartphone market in China is doing what it usually does coming out of Lunar New Year celebrations. But analysts seem to have expected more from 5G-enabled iPhones. While Chapman may be disappointed, he also seems unfazed. JP Morgan has an overweight rating on Apple shares. Chatterjee's price target on the shares is $150. The way Chatterjee talks about the February numbers makes them sound a little bad. Want to make them sound awesome? Don't compare them to the month before. Compare them to the same month a year before. Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani has done that for some reason. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note he wrote, quoting that, February smartphone data points to impressive year-over-year growth, though the month-to-month drop is somewhat more severe versus seasonal patterns. The smartphone data suggests iPhone units were up a staggering 314% year-over-year in the month of February, though we note February 21 had an extremely easy compare. I seriously, honestly laughed so hard when I read that. February of 2020 is when China was seriously locking people in their homes to slow the spread of COVID-19. Not a lot of iPhone sales at that point. I'm not sure why he cares about that comparison, but he does, and he's excited. He thinks revenue growth could continue through the rest of the March quarter compared to a year ago. Whatever, man. Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $163. Here's an odd story. Apple Insider says the Wistron plant making iPhones in India is back to making iPhones. That's the plant that was rocked by Riot in December because it was failing to do little things like pay employees what it had promised to pay them. Apple put the contract manufacturer on probation for that, which means no new business for Wistron for the foreseeable future. Still, everyone expected iPhone production to resume at some point. Now a piece from the India Times, highlighted by Apple Insider, says it has. What makes this story odd? We've heard one like it before. The same Apple Insider that ran yesterday's story ran one very similar almost exactly 1 month earlier. On the 9th of February, the site ran a piece under the headline, India Wistron iPhone plant reopening after December riots. Citing a Reuters report, that one said, Apple has announced that production has restarted at assembly partner Wistron's Narasapura, India facility after December riots shut it down. No mention in yesterday's piece of that earlier report. No correction on that earlier report. I'm not sure whether the XX story means it's really open now, or if we'll get another story a month from now saying, no, seriously, this time, totes open. Keep it locked in. You know, it may just be a day for saying the same stuff over again. It may also be a day for saying the same stuff over again. Last month, Cult of Mac ran a report about carmaker Fisker teaming with Foxconn to start shooting autos off the line. The cult's take was that team-up made Foxconn a better fit for Apple Car. Apple and Foxconn already have a good working relationship. If Foxconn can turn out cars for Fisker, a little-known but truly exacting name in cars, that might make it a good match for Apple. The Cult of Mac piece was short, sweet, and to the point. Yesterday's piece from Bloomberg was not, though it basically boiled down to the same idea. Of Apple's three options for making a car, partnering with a car brand like Hyundai or Nissan, building its own manufacturing plants, or employing a contract manufacturer, that third option seems to be the most likely, with Foxconn and contract car maker Magna International as the frontrunners. In fairness to Bloomberg, they did talk to nameless so-and-sos who said a contract car maker would be the way for Apple to go. Still, all of this has me thinking, today could be a day for saying the same stuff over again. Competition authorities in Australia are taking an interest in smartphone setups. Mac Rumors says the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has concerns about pre-installed software on smartphones, as well as default settings like Google as the search default in Safari on iOS. The ACCC knows that such defaults can be changed. Still, they have concerns. In a press release, Commission Chair Rod Sims was quoted as saying, "We know that, in general, setting a default option substantially increases the likelihood that consumers and businesses will stick with that option. This can have the effect of reducing competition and consumer choice in the supply of these services." And so he wants to hear from you if you're in Australia. Sims goes on to say in the release, "We would like to hear from consumers and businesses about the impact of the pre-installation of services and default settings on devices on their use of these services. We're also interested in how the design of user interfaces on devices, such as widgets, search bars, and the steps required for a consumer to change a default search service, can affect how consumers use these services." No formal investigation yet, though the feedback is said to be ahead of an upcoming report on the issue. Interested parties should respond to the ACCC by the 15th of April. More news in a moment, but first a word from Headspace. Meditation made simple. Headspace makes it easy for you to build a life-changing meditation practice with mindfulness that works for you on your schedule, anytime, anywhere. They have this great app that's easy to explore and take wherever you go. I know you may not think of meditation as a go places and do stuff thing, but it can be. They have workout meditations, walking meditations, programs of various lengths. Take 3 minutes with one of their SOS offerings. I've done that a few times. Or you can run a full course. The practices that I've picked up from Headspace are skills that I can use throughout the day. Headspace is backed by 25 published studies on its benefits, 600,000 five-star reviews, and over 60 million downloads. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/macOSKen. That's headspace.com/macOSKen for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/macOSKen today. A story that is ugly if true. iMore says Apple is being sued by Katrina Parrott, developer of the iOS app iDiversicons. For exposition, iMore quotes a piece from the Washington Post which reads, "It was 2013, and the tiny digital drawings, smiley faces, and thumbs-up icons sent over text message depicted people in only one skin tone. Parrott, who is black, said her oldest daughter came home from college one day and lamented that she couldn't express herself through emoji with skin tones that matched her own. They say necessity is the mother of invention, and Mom, in this story, invented Diversicons, which iMore says let users copy and paste emojis with 5 distinct skin tones into messages. The piece says Parrott was invited to Cupertino in 2013 to discuss partnering with Apple on an app based on her idea of emojis with different skin tones. Then Apple apparently decided to go a different direction. Or the same direction, but without Parrott. 6 months after the talk with her daughter, iDiversicons was out. Not long after that, Apple and other tech companies started doing emojis with different skin tones on their own, leaving Parrott with a superfluous app and $200,000 in the hole. Parrott is suing Apple for copyright infringement, according to the report. Apple responded to the story in the Post by pointing to filings it's lodged, saying copyright does not protect the idea of applying 5 different skin tones to emoji because ideas are not copyrightable. Apparently, they developed emojis with many skin tones on their own. Makes one wonder about Parrott's meeting in Cupertino. Ugly, if true. The privacy labels for Apple's own apps finally have a home. You know about the privacy labels. Likened to nutrition labels by Apple, any apps in the App Store are supposed to let people know, via privacy labels, what information they'll take from your phone and how that info will be used. That even goes for any Apple-owned apps in the App Store, which is groovy. But what about iPhone's pre-installed apps? Hence the new home. Mac Rumors says Apple on Thursday updated its privacy website with a new labels section that brings privacy labels for all of Apple's apps together in one place, making it easier for users to learn about how Apple apps handle their personal data. Finding that info was kind of a pain before this. Labels for pre-installed apps used to be on individual support pages, according to the report. Mac Rumors says the new labels section makes it easier to view the labels all in one place and in alphabetical order. You can check them out for yourself at apple.com/privacy, then click the labels link at the top of the page. And finally today, news of another potentially big deal for Apple TV Plus. Deadline says the Cupertino streamer has signed a first-look deal with Brian Grazer and Ron Howard's feature production company, Imagine Entertainment. Deadline says the deal calls for Imagine to produce a slate of scripted movies exclusively for Apple original films, though that's only true if Apple likes what they see. A first-look deal means Apple gets a first look at anything Imagine can imagine. At that point, Apple can play or pass. That said, Apple's likely to like a lot of it. According to Deadline, Imagine has accumulated 43 Oscar nominations and 198 Emmy nominations over the years, and Grazer and Howard won Best Picture Oscars for the film A Beautiful Mind. And they're still cranking. On the feature side, the piece says Imagine is currently producing Lin-Manuel Miranda's Tick, Tick, Boom starring Andrew Garfield and has Lee Daniels directing a reinterpretation of Terms of Endearment. This isn't the first deal for Apple and Imagine's principals. The Cupertino company signed a first-look deal with Imagine Documentaries in early 2019. Deadline says that deal has brought Apple TV Plus the Bryce Dallas Howard documentary Dads, the Emmy-winning series Peanuts in Space, Secrets of Apollo 10, the upcoming Peanuts 70th anniversary documentary, and the upcoming Barbara Kopel docuseries, The Supermodels. Coming up in a few minutes, what he wanted to be, an app he loves, his earliest tech memory. Mike Rose, co-host of The After Show, spins the Wheel of Stuff. The show is called In a Few Minutes. Look for it and grab it wherever you get podcasts. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Get a free 1-month trial at headspace.com/macOSken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.